what is lady styling? Like, is it stretching an arm? Is it dancing in heels?
Can you define feminine without using the word woman?
Exactly, you
It's the
know?
same thing. The words only exist, masculine and feminine. They're just a social construct that we have adhered to.
And that's everything, social construct.
All the teachers, all of us who teach regular classes, we're the filter to what enters the social dance scene.
Welcome back to Empowered Dancers. Today we are joined by none other than Felipe and Tiago. Felipe and Tiago started teaching as a professional couple in 2019 and have since gone from strength to strength. They are the pioneers of role rotation in social dancing and are well known for their philosophy on the benefits of dancing as both a leader and a follower. A huge warm welcome to both of you, Felipe and Tiago. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone. It's
How
a
are you?
pleasure for us being here as well. We're so excited.
Let's dive straight in. Felipe, let's start with you. What brought
Yes.
you into the world of dance?
My parents. So I was 15 at the time. I already danced other things, but basically I visited my parents in my hometown and I didn't know a lot of people there. So it was a Saturday night, I think, and they were like, if you're just gonna stay at home, you come with us. And they brought me to this dance club that I had never seen. And people were dancing between them, and they basically, in a nice way, forced me to start doing social dances. So that's how it all started. And it was just salsa. Like bachata was not a thing at the time. So it was just mainly salsa, cha-cha, merengue. But that's how it all started. Yeah.
Wonderful. How about for you, Tiago?
Yeah, for me it was quite different. So we actually have dance in high school in Portugal. Not all schools, but the majority of them do have. It's like you have maths, we also have dance. Obviously, we have more ballroom. We do learn like the basics of salsa, but we have more, it's ballroom and the traditional folklore from Portugal, right?
Mm.
And yeah, so we were actually forced into it because it's part of the high school. But then I wanted to be a basketball player, but the girl that I actually was interested back then needed a partner for proper ballroom dancing classes. So I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. She hated it, but I loved it. So I stayed. So I was 12 back then.
Oh,
So yeah, I
and
guess
thank
school made me.
yeah, well, great that you got into it so early. Fantastic.
Yeah.
For dancers listening or watching who may be new to the concept, could you explain to us in a nutshell what is role rotation in a social dance?
So role rotation is per se the action of rotating roles in the middle of the dance. Okay, this is what it is, clean, physical. But it ended up becoming, we realized that it was fixing so many problems that it ended up becoming an activist movement on anti-discrimination, gender equality, degendering dance in general. Okay, so in the end nowadays, the movement is all about you can do whatever the role you want with independently of your gender, sexual orientation, body type, whatever, race. And the second one is that we have to degender dance, as in styling is for everyone, so movement is doesn't change equally again for through gender. So yeah, it's something that becomes just a rotating roles in the middle of dance, but now it's much bigger than that. It's
Yeah.
proving that
So in a
things need to
nutshell,
change.
basically it's two things. You got the physical part of it, which is just rotating roles, and then everything that came with it, which is the activist movement for respect, equality, and of discrimination and prejudices in the dance world.
Yes, because these are now things that we expect when I hear the words, it's a role rotation lesson that I'm attending. I expect these to be the values that are being taught as well alongside.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good important point. The values is also 'cause this is something that sometimes some teachers forget because you're not just teaching dance, you're teaching social dance. The entire social component needs to be taught as well in class. People just assume is general knowledge, is not. It's not common sense. I also thought in the beginning, but there are things that you have to teach. And if you teach a certain way, they will just assume that's how it works. So if you teach men styling, lady styling, if you teach them men have to lead, women have to follow, they will just assume it's correct. They will not question themselves, the students, unfortunately. Not in the beginning. Maybe later, sure, but not in the beginning, but by the time they start questioning themselves, they already have all these preconceptions that the teacher created on them that shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yes, and now it's a lot harder to break habits once we have them than it is to
Mm-hmm.
form something completely
Exactly.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's throw a statement out there today to see if we can prove it in a few different scenarios.
Okay.
So we've kind of started off there with role rotation can address many problems in the dance scene, not just limited to bachata, where you are both in your zone of expert, but beyond that as well. And I'm not saying we're going to talk about all the problems, or equally that there are many wonderful things in the scene as well. But today, let's talk about how role rotation can deal with some of these problems, how it addresses them. Um, so you've talked about already the kind of social etiquette and social side of dancing that teachers should be teaching. How do you think role rotation encourages teachers to do this more from the beginning than if they were teaching just traditional one role, one role?
Yeah, it's let's bring it to a more wide wide representation. Let's say like this. So if let's take a stereotypical generic bachata class where you have one guy and one girl, and both of them do both roles. And the moment they went in the class, they both speak about leading and following. Meaning, so the importance is in the details, I would say. So imagine you start a class, you do a warm up, and then instead of dividing the class and go like guys there, girls there, not grab each other, it's as simple as grab whoever's close to you. We need to be in twos to start the class. It's these little details, like if you have two friends who came together to class independently of their gender, the friends will be more comfortable starting dancing together. If it's two guys or two girls or two sisters or a guy and his cousin, also male, like the moment you take out of the equation, let's do Tinder, like a guy finds a girl, and you just say, I'm sorry for the expression, but it's the one I always use. But the moment you say people get in twos, people will by default go to their friend or whoever they talked before the class, or if they came alone, whoever's closest to them. These little details suddenly, and then, for example, imagine the girl starts teaching the class and says, "Today I'm going to start as a lead and he's going to follow," and then you explain. So in social dances, you have a person who leads and a person who follows, and you can also learn both if you want to. So when you go dancing, you can dance with absolutely everyone. The mindset is set in the first 2 minutes of the class. And it's a totally different environment. Like the moment people realize you can do whatever you want, there's no barriers, there's no obstacles, there's no limits. If you came with your friend, be happy and dance with your friend. Today I'm the woman, I'm going to be teaching the class and I'm leading, or I'm following, but also teaching the class mainly. It's all these little details that break, that is not even break, like avoids forming old mindsets.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even if you have both teachers, the difference is if you have both teachers teaching how to lead, teaching how to follow, they are both speaking equally tempos, so equally times, it's completely different than constantly having your teachers where the man is talking, the man is leading, the woman is just there assisting it. You automatically are creating, even if you think you are not, and even if you think, no, we are very open. If they want to do the other role, they can. But just by saying the other role, you're already putting a power dynamic that you are creating in them underlined without they even realizing you are creating this,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can give you one live example. I'm not gonna say name, but just so you understand the difference, the the difference in the mindsets that the teachers actually create. Imagine a girl teaches a boy how to dance, right? And the guy gets to this high level that ends up teaching with her, right? And then he takes over the classes and teaches as a lead, right? Even though she's the teacher of him as well, right?
Yeah.
When there's a question among the students, imagine one of the students doesn't know how to lead something, who do you think they resort to by default to ask how to lead something? They go to him.
Yeah.
From the outside perspective, is like, I get that he's teaching now with her, but why would you ask him a very advanced question instead of asking her, who is the
Mm.
one who knows? If by default, when you start teaching these classes, the girl keeps teaching and,
Yes.
like more actively, like if she's the professional one, she's the one that taught him how to dance, keep teaching mostly you.
Mhm.
I don't understand why if a guy has a question from the students about leading, it should be normal to go ask her how to lead that properly, not the student. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I'm trying to get like a hypothetical situation, but this
Yeah. Yeah.
happens a lot. Like suddenly, instead of asking the professional, they ask the guy because he's the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's the
But
guy.
but
And
can you really blame the students
But you
though?
can
Because if that is
exactly.
the power dynamic that they were taught by the teachers, then we should be
yes.
blaming the teachers. And don't get us wrong, like we get it that
It's habit.
if you
Yeah.
go, if you are a girl and you grab a guy to be your dance partner or vice versa, it's just in my field that it's just easier. The guy is the leader and the girl is follower because you'll not suffer so much discrimination in the beginning, sure. Maybe you'll have easier jobs because you're just more generic, but in the end, you are just feeding this power system of giving more power to the men. And then in the end, what happens? They get separated because they are not together or they break up as a relationship or whatever the reason they decide to go different ways. And who gets all the jobs? The guys. And then they come crying. But it's like, it's also everyone's fault because you are accepting always being the follower, never to talk, never to, you know what I mean? So in the end, you should be showing everything. Even if in your demos you are more comfortable in your role, in yours, Instagrams, Facebooks, whatever you use to for your career, you should be representing everything that you do. Show me all of your curriculum, not just 50%, you
Yeah,
know.
and
Yeah.
talking in regular classes, you have to make sure your students like I'm in this situation, but you have to make sure your students know that you know both roles, that you can teach them everything. You can teach them how to lead, you can teach them how to follow. And the thing is, the moment they see these things normal, we had a situation actually this weekend. One of the teachers came that her beginner students now started going out to socials, and they came the next day asking her like people only dance one role and some of the girls don't speak in class and
They were
this,
confused
they
because
were
Yeah.
super confused because she's a solo teacher. She teaches them alone. She teaches everything, how to lead, how to follow. The students dance both
Yeah.
roles. They're used to seeing her as the power picture of the class. Like a girl is teaching
Mm.
everyone how to social dance, leading, following. And that's
Yeah.
their ideal in their mindset. Like they started dancing from zero with a
Yeah.
woman teaching them everything.
That's the
And
default.
yeah, but now they go to places and they don't understand some things. Like it doesn't fit.
Yes, now it's different. But you're right that this power system that it's feeding into. So I can understand a bit how that default can be created, like from the example that the man ends up doing more of the talking, or the students go to the man as a result. Because although this is a new skill they're learning in dancing, it's still set within the wider context of the social society we have around us, where it is still tilted towards male dominance and power. So this is where again it can be even more important to bring in that equal level of voice. And
100%,
I think
100%.
we can say on this one that Role Rotation is doing well to address that. Mm. Um, okay, so next thing. We have some leaders out there who are rough and even force movements in social dancing. And we have some followers who have very little frame or very heavy frame in social dancing. How can Role Rotation address this?
So I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? Like knowing the other role, it will make you better at the role you prefer. Does that make sense? It's like when people say, "Oh no, my back hurts because of all the cambres I did yesterday." Do you really think if the leaders that don't follow knew how to follow, they will be doing 40 cambres a night? They will
Of
not.
course
They will
not.
not.
Yeah.
Or they will probably do with them to be more smooth, like the dumbbell cambrai that you see all the time now. It became a viral thing, right? Because
Yeah.
they understand how it is to be. Also, it becomes way more constructive when the problems appear, right? Like, because it's not like, oh no, you're too rough, it's your fault, or no, you are the one who are
Yeah.
too heavy. This completely disappears in class because people understand how hard it is to be on the other side. They respect way more both sides and they end up being way more constructive trying to come up with a solution and do it properly than to just saying that it's the other one's fault.
So imagine, I'll give you the two examples you give. When the leader is really rough, and then you rotate roles and they do it to them, and they're like, "Oh my God, it hurts." And then they go like, and they suddenly understand the moment they
Yes.
follow. And then the opposite, when you said when a follower is very loose, right? And then you rotate roles and they're trying to lead someone and that person is real loose. And they actually say it like, oh my God, I cannot move you. You're super loose. And they're like, ah,
Um,
So rotation gives you a lot of those aha moment when you're like, this is what they meant.
Yeah.
Because they
yes,
feel it on the other perspective and you instantly understand what your problem was, even if you didn't do it in one role.
Yes, and even for teachers, see how much better teachers get by having better students. Look at this, because when the leader teacher is talking, the followers are not listening. They are just waiting. And then
yeah,
whenever the follower is teaching the styling and what can they do during that particular move, the leaders are not listening, just waiting, right? Role rotation students are used to listening to everything because they know sooner or later they will have to rotate the roles and know the same move on the other role. So they will
mhm,
be completely focused in the class since
Yeah.
the minute one, right? So even the teachers will not have to explain everything twice. By the time they rotate the roles, they will already know. Even obviously we might have to repeat one to our thing, but not
Yeah.
everything again.
yeah,
And yeah,
Yeah,
like they will be
that
better students and you'll become a better teacher.
yeah, that active listening skill that we teach, it takes like 2 days. Like in 2 classes, the students realize that you really have to be an active listener. Like if you're
yeah,
in one role, but the teacher is explaining the other role, please listen. Even if you don't do it today, there's always information that will be valuable to
yeah,
whatever you're doing after.
Yeah. So for
yeah,
teachers out there, if they're listening, like I just want to say, even if you're just teaching one role in class, every time you stop to explain something to the leaders, force the followers to try it as well. And every
And
time
listen.
you are explaining the styling for the followers, force the leaders to do it as well. Even
mhm,
if they don't want to stretch an arm because whatever the preconception they have in their brains, still they should be doing it because
Yeah.
their body will be way more stiff than the followers, and then they don't understand why the followers are too heavy
Yeah.
or why they are too loose or whatever the reason, you know?
Yeah, and let's be honest, every time we stop the class to teach something for a specific role, it's always like solo dance related,
mhm,
which
mhm,
even if you're not doing it today, it's good for you, for your coordination, your body control, your body movement. So we really recommend teachers out there and students out there, even if you're not doing it that day in class, but someone stops the class to teach something, do it as well. It's always good for your body. The more you train your body, the better a dancer you become. That,
yes.
that's how it works.
Yeah, that is so true. It can often feel frustrating when it could be a turn pattern they're practicing and they say, right, followers, let's go, let's practice this. Surely the leads can practice it as well. It's a
Yeah.
turn pattern. We should all be engaging. Yeah, what an
Yes.
excellent tool rotation can be for that active listening, more in-depth or more focused engagement in lessons.
Yeah, it's one of the things we discovered is learning strategies wise, a lot of it's like it's not even I wouldn't say even we developed them. I think they like it just came with rotation. We suddenly started realizing all these new tools and new ways of learning and new ways of teaching just
Mhm.
skyrocket the level of the students
Yeah,
because suddenly you take out all the limits and habits that made no sense.
yeah, yes, for sure. And this helps students to build their confidence on the social dance floor.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. And don't get me wrong, like it might feel frustrating in the beginning for teachers that have been teaching one role and now they just want to start teaching both roles. Honestly, the hardest part is the beginning because
Mm.
first you still have to learn the dynamic of teaching both roles is different. Okay, it's not
Yeah,
as easy. You have to read way more your students, but anyway, it'll make you a better teacher anyway. But it's not even that point. The point is obviously in the beginning maybe will feel like they will not go through the entire curriculum that they have planned for beginners so quickly because they have to learn everything in both roles, but as soon as they get it, as soon as they do the switch
Yeah.
themselves, they will be the ones doing it on their own. Like as soon the first 3 4 months until it clicks in their head, it
yeah,
might feel slower, but that is just for the teachers. It's just frustrating for the teachers, not for the students. They don't know better, they don't know how it
no.
works.
Well, it's frustrating for the teachers because they are used to this other format. This is their habit that it's used to be a 8-week, 10-week course, and now it takes 16.
Exactly. But as soon as you finish those 3 4 months, we will never go back to teaching one role. Like that's the thing that will never, because after those 3 months, now it's not frustrating because we are used to, and actually we know how to be equally fast. But in the beginning we didn't.
Yeah, it happened the first time. Yeah.
But now it's just like I will not understand how someone will go back to teach one role. And I know why they do it. Sometimes there's like, no, but we don't have enough people, or blah blah. Or yeah, but if you attract beginners, you don't have to say you are going to teach role rotation bachata to beginners. We are teaching bachata.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
beginners don't know that the generic world, it's still
Like,
leaders, men, followers, women, but that will
Yeah.
change sooner or later. So might as well just go now, you know?
Yeah, beginners don't know what roles are.
Yeah.
So if you say role rotation beginners, no one will understand it.
Yeah.
No one knows
No.
what. Do you know what I mean? It's like what's
Yeah, they're
rotation and
looking for
what's
the
role.
dance style.
Like you
Yeah.
teach bachata classes, and then it's the way of teaching. It's not a style. Is the way of teaching and all these new tools that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see your brain thinking.
I know, yeah.
Processing info.
Yeah, indeed.
The moment you take out of these limits and barriers, because let's be honest, the moment you start teaching, by default, you kind of fall into what you've seen before or the way you learned. And this is one thing we say a lot in our teachers course. The way you learned, it's specific for you. If you have 30 students in class, those 30 students are not going to be learning the way you did. So you might as well sit and think of ways that make more sense now to you and to society and to the dance world and to your students, and what's the best approach for them to learn faster and better.
That's the reason why our teacher's course is so focused on theory and methodology and thinking for yourself, and not so much learning how to dance rompe and how to dance a double turn, because you should already be knowing this in both roles
if you're a teacher.
If you're a teacher, you know, so
it's very specific, but we're really we're talking about the teacher's course because it's one of the main things we do. It's mostly theory, but we really want people to sit and think and like get to know yourself.
reflect.
How are you as a teacher? How do you want your students to learn? What's the best approach for your public? Because let's be honest, where are you from?
Ireland.
You're from Ireland. Do you think the people in Ireland learn the same way as the people we have in Madrid? Like it's
Probably
different
not.
cultures, so there are going to be like, even if the ultimate goal is the same, there's always this mini detail. Again, going back to the details, there's always details that change that you should approach. If you learned in Spain, but then you go to Germany to teach, or you go to Switzerland, or you go to London, there are these little things you need to learn how to do as a teacher.
Of course, yes, and one style is not going to work. I'm a teacher, but not of dance. I teach languages, and you're never trained. This is how you
Me
teach.
too. I'm a language teacher.
Hey, cool.
Yes.
You spend at least a whole year learning different ways you can teach, different ways to adapt a lesson to bring them into different scenarios. Yeah, it's so important. Okay, that brings me into another question for role rotation and teaching styles. So we have, at the moment, still quite predominantly man style, lady styling in festivals, as workshops, standalone things. Role rotation says or implies that this is more outdated, that we don't need this anymore. How do you think this benefits our students?
In everything. No, so let's just deconstruct the word styling and men styling and lady styling, okay?
Okay.
One, what is lady styling? Like, is it stretching an arm? Is it dancing in heels? What is? Because if I dance the generic public consider to be super masculine men styling, but I will dance exactly the same way, same attitude, even it can be even the same teacher. Okay, let's say
same chorus,
big artist, male artist teaching men styling, same chorus, same attitude, but we put heels on him.
Yeah.
Do you really think the generic public will call that men styling?
No, they would applaud him for doing lady styling.
Of course, just because he was wearing heels instead of wearing trainers. So then it's clear that it's not the movement itself that makes it man or lady.
It's nothing to do with dance.
So what I always say is, I don't become a woman by stretching an arm, and I don't become a man by hitting twice on the chest and pointing up. You know, like people need to understand that styling, movement, not even st movement, has no gender. Your body has the same muscles, has the
Someone
woman's
else.
body, and vice versa. Okay, every gender, non-binary, every gender has the same muscles when it comes to dance movement. Okay,
Yes.
so we shouldn't be calling it men's styling and lady styling.
Mm.
Now, you might say, yeah, but obviously we have more masculine moves and more feminine moves. There is an also problem there because what you consider to be masculine in Ireland, or even for you personally, it's not the same that what I consider to be masculine and feminine, you know? In
Mm.
ballroom, it's the way you put your hand that sometimes will say if it is hyper masculine or hyper feminine, but then you come to the I don't know, to the hip hop world, and they will say all the men in ballroom dancing feels like super feminine, you know?
Uh-huh.
And
Well,
this dissonance, you know, I've been
uh-huh.
all my life living as in like this is masculine. You are in the ballroom world, like this is masculine, this is masculine. Then you go to the contemporary world, oh god, you guys are so feminine there. And I'm like, what? Like,
Well, the issue I take with masculine and feminine as a way to take away man and woman is that can you define feminine without using the word woman?
exactly, you
It's the
know?
same thing. The words only exist, masculine and feminine, to describe a womanly thing, to describe a manly thing. And these are based on certain types of men and women. They're just a social construct that we have adhered to.
And that's everything, social construct. If it is a social construct, then culture is involved. If culture is involved, it changes it per culture. We shouldn't universalize something that is not able, it's impossible to universalize culture, you know?
It shouldn't be brought into an academic environment. So the
Exactly.
moment you have the word teach and learning, it shouldn't be there. I always say this, it sounds really bad, but imagine if you go to university, you're a language student. Imagine you go to university and you're like, no, girls can only learn French, the guys
Mm.
can learn Spanish.
Yeah,
Doesn't make
that's
sense.
What's the goal?
it's a
Do you
very
know
good
what I mean?
example.
So it's an academic environment, so everyone should be welcome everywhere, and then let people decide what works on their body, what doesn't, what they want to use, what they don't, because I think people confuse a lot dance classes with attitude and acting. Like you can
Mm.
have exactly the same choreo and do it in a feminine way or a masculine way or however you want to do it.
Bear in mind, we say feminine and masculine with like, what do you call this?
Quote
See little
marks.
bunny,
Quote
little
mark. Yeah.
bunny
We're
ears.
the whole time doing quote marks
Yeah.
because we don't agree with this. Like if I teach a dance class, I used to teach jazz. I'm a lyrical jazz teacher, and when I'm doing a choreo for jazz, I'm not thinking if it's masculine or feminine. I'm thinking if it goes with music. Um, that's it, and it's an again, and I've always had girls and guys and everything in my classes, and I'm not gonna kick someone out of my class because of I don't know what they have in their pants. Like, I don't care. Like, if the students come to learn to dance, and it's styling classes are literally dance classes. It's a dance
Hmm.
class. It's a solo dance class, I think. And then people go like, no, but it's marketing. Like, you need the word men styling and lady styling. Is like, it's bad marketing. You're kicking students out of your class.
Yeah.
Like, if you have an artist teaching footwork and they call it man styling, why cannot a girl go learn footwork?
And this is the problem. So now that we had this constructed the men's lady styling, which doesn't make any sense, it should just be called styling, okay, or solo movement or whatever. Think about this specifically. The problem with this is more and more men's styling classes is, like Felipe said, just becoming footwork. If you get lucky, you have one body roll. If you get really lucky with a teacher, you get a normal turn, like maybe a double. Like I've never seen, but maybe it happens. Okay. The only ones that are doing men styling, let's call it with the breaks, that are more than just that is actually dancers that come from other roles, from other backgrounds, like hip hop and all of these. They will put more stuff into it. But the ones who don't come from backgrounds, they will just do footwear. Then you go to lady styling, they have everything. They have turns, arms, head rolls, body rolls, hips. If they have even footwork while doing it on top of their tippy toes because they have to wear heels, you know?
Mm.
Now, luckily, a lot of teachers are taking the heels away. It's like you can choose whether with heels or not. That's good. But do you know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
girls are learning and what guys are learning is not the same. And this is actually discrimination on the guys. They are learning way less. Okay?
Yes. Well, you look at any video and who's your eye drawn to?
Exactly, exactly. So even for, and then, so this is like from the educational point of view, right? We already did construction from the linguistic point of view and now from the education, but even from marketing point of view, because this is the biggest obstacle teachers go against with their arguments against us on this. They say, no, but it's marketing. You have to niche down. Babe,
Mhm.
if you are saying lady styling, you are niching down in gender. All the guys that want to learn your lady styling are not welcoming. And he says,
Mhm.
no, but the guys are accepted in my class. You know what's going to happen? They are going to your class, and there will always be one student, not even the teacher sometimes, because we have been thrown out of classes from teachers, but even the students will say, excuse me, your class is in the other room.
Ooh.
I don't have to go through that as a guy that wants to learn with a female artist. I don't have to go as a teacher, as students that wants
Mm.
to learn with I don't have to go through your classes in the other room because I will just tell them to F off, you know? But other people just leave the class. They will just
Yeah.
leave the class because they'll feel not welcome.
It creates uncomfortable situations. Like if
Yeah.
and you never know people's background. Like imagine you're a guy and you love these female artists, the way they dance, like purely platonic love for their way of dancing. And then you go to a festival and you cannot enter their class because it says lady on the title. It's
Mm.
how bad is that? Like you're just limiting
Yeah.
access.
Well,
And
this is
It's
what I was thinking is the way I would like to see things marketed. Forget man, lady styling, but rather what is the style of that artist?
yeah.
And
exactly.
and we
What is
have
the
Look,
so
class
much on
about?
yeah, we have so much on social media. It's like the gateway for many artists that they promote put all their stuff on there. So if I see or from my lessons or from other festivals, your style is however it is, I'm like, oh, that aligns with me, that resonates with me.
Mm,
I'm gonna go and do that. So if teachers have a style, then I can either say yes for me or not for me.
exactly. Like
exactly.
even if
That's
you put,
literally the
let's
point.
imagine that you go to a festival and you put two female artists teaching styling at the same time.
Hmm.
Having ladies in the name will not make a difference. The student will have to look at their Instagram or whatever they put to YouTube and see which styling they resonate more and pick the one they like the more. So having the guy artist teaching styling at the same time as the girl artist shouldn't have men and ladies styling doesn't make a difference because the name will be on the paper. Sometimes even if they even are like good styling classes, they will even tell you, and it's not a choreo, they will even tell you what they were going to work on, which is even better if you
Yeah.
can do that. In ours, in festivals, it's normally just choreo because it's what we like, but in regular classes, our styling classes have technique based
Yeah.
each week, right? So the point is the teachers don't have to change their styling, honestly. If you consider yourself a super hyper feminine, whatever, keep your styling. You don't have to change your styling because a guy now is in class. The guy will learn whatever, everything, and then they will use whatever he liked from that class, you know?
Yes. Like the women will as well.
Exactly. Same
Yes,
for
it's no
women.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just use styling. Don't call it styling by whatever person you are. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
done. Take the lady, take the man, and that's it.
And this is just something that in role rotation, we don't have this issue because I say I'm quite new into role rotation. I've got two good rotatey moves that I'm great with. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, keep trying those. Once I've got those nailed, then I'll learn a third because I haven't got any lessons around me. So
Yeah.
that's how I work it. So I'm saying but so I lost my train of thought now. Oh, so silly. Oh well. So with role rotation, we can remove this man-lady styling because now we are all people engaging in this activity. And
That's it.
Agree.
It's all degendering dance,
yeah,
desexualizing dance. So
It's about
you wouldn't
uplifting.
see dance, you wouldn't see men and women. We don't see men and women. You get into my class, you're not a woman, you are a dancer, period.
yeah.
It
And
finished there. You learn everything like everyone else. If you have long hair, I might have to tell you that you have to be careful with your long hair. And people that don't have no hair, I will not tell them that. But it's still because of whatever you are working with, I have to be,
It's
you know,
taking down limits and letting everyone have full access to
mm,
everything.
knowledge. Yeah.
That's how it works.
access to knowledge, this is what it comes down to.
Mm,
And that is a
Of course.
beautiful note for us to all think about is that the role rotation movement, it's got its values of inclusivity, respect, anti-prejudice, anti-nonsense, but it's also giving you a wider access to education.
yep.
Of course.
And that's one of the great things about dancing is that no matter how much you learn or how good you get, there's always more to learn. There's always something you can dive deeper into, something you can sideways step into. And role rotation offers us a whole other half that many of us
It,
haven't
it's
looked into before.
it's opened definitely has opened a lot of doors. And going away from education, one of the things I like the most, and I used to say this a lot 5 years ago, is that we've lost a lot of people along the way because they were not included. And we've lost a lot of talents that tried social dancing and then said it was not for them. It was not what they're looking for. And I think these people are finally being included and they see a representation and they go to social media. And I think the dance scene is getting way richer socially speaking because suddenly a
Mhm.
lot of people that were not before included now are included.
Of course.
So
Because this is something really funny, but like ridiculous actually, because they will go, no, role rotation is just for women because there are more men, there are more women in the dancing scene, so they need to dance between themselves. And the other will say, no, role rotation is just for the LGBT. And I'm like, the LGBT people, we are not even invited to be here because when we
Yeah.
go to a class, if I go with my boyfriend, I cannot dance with him because we both have to be leaders. So we
And it's
were, I like how people say, no, the rotation is for the gays. We are not even invited to generic classes because we could never dance together. So don't come say it's for us. Like, it's
there
literally
were no people.
yeah, it's for everyone because we take
yeah,
that out of the equation. It's for humans that want to dance, then they will dance with everything they got. That's it,
yes.
you know?
I mean, this is probably another topic we could dive into another day, but
Yeah,
gay, straight, whatever you are, your sexual orientation, the people you find attractive, have nothing to do
To
with
do
dancing. And if
exactly.
that
can you
has an
imagine?
impact on why you are dancing,
Yeah,
well,
painting
maybe I don't want to
classes.
dance
Join
with
us
you.
only if you're a woman. It's like
Can you imagine?
it's a
Oh, you're
hobby.
gay, so your arms stretched better. You have to do lady style. Like, doesn't make any sense. But some teachers do teach it that way, like without even considering it, you know?
Yeah.
And even, for example, this is something that a lot of teachers do have to be careful because they live in places that are actually open-minded about this. They will allow men to follow, women to lead, men with men, women, non-binaries, trans, everyone, right? But then they will go, no, in my classes, you can pick whatever you want, but I will not ask you. I just say, go and then sure, but look at this. I go to a class and you even allow a man, or in your case a woman, to be a leader, but then you get to a class and you put leaders on one side, followers on the other one. You don't even say men on one side, women. You say leaders and followers, but then you have 30 men in the leader group and 30 women in the follower group. This new student, what do you think she's going to pick as a woman?
Yeah,
She's
she's
auto
going to move towards the women.
Yes, and you can be open-minded and say, no, but you can do as a leader. Like the fear of discrimination that humans have, it's so big and it's normal. They should be scared of discrimination because it can be really
It's
bad,
still
you
a
know?
thing.
It's a
Protection
thing.
method. Yeah.
They will pick the woman. So you, in a way, even if you're open-minded, until they have the confidence to go against every odds, they will like be picking the main role as in your case, in your following. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which you're just dragging things up. So just teach both roles to everyone. And honestly, if then you say, yeah, but I will lose students because some guys don't feel comfortable. Do you really want those type of people
Entering the dance
in the
world.
dance world? Like those are the same type of people that will put the hands on the girls where they shouldn't.
Hmm.
The same for the girls. Bear in mind, we talk about men generally because it's what's, but girls are the same. I
Happens
have
more
been
often, but it,
It
yeah,
assaulted
also
by girls,
happens.
you
happens
know, the
both
girls have
ways.
putting hands where they shouldn't dancing with me. So those people, you don't not generic, you don't normally see that happening with people that do both roles because they just are their mindset is different. They are there to
The
dance.
thing is, a lot of teachers are afraid of losing students, but a lot of people also forget that regular teachers, so all the teachers, all of us who teach regular classes, we're the filter to what enters the social dance scene. And if we don't put that social filter in our regular classes, we're letting people enter the dance scene that then things happen. Like I know you had Leah here in the anti-harassment policy. Those
Yeah.
teachers that harass people were put there accidentally or howeverly by someone who didn't filter their classes,
Yes.
and we teachers, I know we're afraid of losing students. I get it.
It's
Like
money. We need to
I've been in this for
eat.
15 years now. I get it. But we also need to be a little careful with that filter that we put as to who enters the social dance scene. And that
Because
comes from teachers.
how many students have you lost because she were not comfortable with some people in the class? You know,
Yes.
because they will always tell you, oh no, I just didn't have time. But you
Yeah.
will not, like, because this is the
That's,
difference. You make them
that's,
dance both roles, you will know why they left. I don't want to dance with other men. I don't want
Yeah.
to dance with other women. Fine.
mm,
Okay. But the problem is the people that you lost because of those ones that you allowed in class, but they were touching and they will just move to other teachers because they felt more comfortable. They will never tell you it's because they felt more
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's
no.
because, oh, I didn't have time or blah, blah. They will never know. So you're actually probably losing even more
Yeah.
students than
Yeah.
you
And
think.
also take it from a school owner perspective. If I let one of these people stay in class, I will probably lose 3 or 4 without knowing it because I didn't want to lose that one because something happened. I tried to fix it fast. And then in the end, 2, 3 people that were affected by that person will leave. So in the end, instead of losing one student, you will lose 4.
Yeah.
And this is by default. 90% of the times it happens like this. And I know teachers are afraid of losing students, but honestly, if something like this happens in your class, cut it from scratch. Like it's worth losing one person that didn't fit into the
Yes.
way you're teaching, than losing 3 in the long run.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
maybe those
because
3 are the ones who should be dancing in the first place.
And the ones who stay will be much closer, much more family environment. They will stay for longer, especially because if they do
for
role
sure.
rotation, they know everyone. Because the majority of the guys only know the girls in class. They never talk with the other guys, and the girls never talk with the other girls. Role rotation people, you can dance with everyone, so they will know all of them. We go on vacations with all of them, not just
Yeah.
the guys or the girls, you know?
Everyone knows each
Yes.
other, yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, completely. And perhaps that person who left the lesson because they were not following the values, maybe they'll learn something too. And when they come back in a year or 2 years,
Yeah,
maybe they'll have improved.
100%,
agree,
100%.
Indeed. Well, a massive thank you to you both, Felipe and Tiago,
agree.
for shining a light on the value that role rotation can bring to social dancing. You've definitely shown us here at Empowered Dancers some of the incredible ways that role rotation can address many of the issues that we have in the scene and will continue to address. Thank you both very much.
No,
Thank you so
thank you
much. Thank you for bringing us.
for working for this, for putting the awareness out there. Everyone asks us, what's the first step? And we always say is awareness. So podcasts like this are extremely important. We
Important,
just
yes.
open our podcast as well. And with a friend, yeah, it's called Role Rotation Podcasts. But so it's beautiful. Now we need more people like you bringing the awareness, you know, calling
Yeah.
the people that are talking about the awareness. This is important
Yeah.
work.
And
It's
the beautiful thing about the social dance scene now is that there's a lot of new concepts and new people and new teachers and new issues coming up. And it's just nice to be invited to your
so
podcast. So
thank you very
thank
much.
you very much.